No subscriptions, no paywalls, just racing. That's a direct quote from Project Motor Racing's social media post earlier today. It goes on to say, get ready to race the world on November 25th. No sub-ranked racing with scheduled start times, monthly championships, drop in flexibility and divisions. To me, that sounds like Project Motor Racing are putting down a marker, making a statement, and they are out to get iRacing sim racers by offering a similar service without the monthly membership fee. Furthermore, the devs of Project Motor Racing teased the MX-5 on Instagram last week. They posted a shot of the MX-5 dashboard, and that's a car that is somewhat synonymous with iRacing. When we think of iRacing, it's one of the cars that sort of springs to mind. So clearly with that post today, the teasing of the MX-5 a few days ago, they're out to get this area of the market, they're out to get iRacing's player base, and I'm excited because it's about time that that business model was challenged, because it's very, very expensive, and to not only have the subscription fee but then to have to pay for additional content which stays locked behind that membership wall it's an interesting business practice, and I feel like the only reason it's working is because there's no one else that's offering a viable alternative. Now obviously the MX-5 isn't exclusive to iRacing, and we have another example of an MX-5 here in Race Room, and I've got myself a 5-minute session just so I can give some of my thoughts in response to the noises coming out of the Project Motor Racing camp social medias over the last few days. If you're new to the channel, then do consider subscribing. Any support is greatly appreciated. I'm heading towards that 300 subscriber milestone, so any support with that would be awesome. Heading down towards turn 1 then in this MX-5, we've got a white flag out, 46 cars on the track, so not surprised to see a spattering of MX-5s jostling here around this first turn. But yes, currently iRacing, they've got themselves a monopoly on the on-demand ranked multiplayer sim racing space. There's not really a sim that's doing the same or offering the same level of service. I guess you could make the argument for LMU, because that does have the level of convenience, it just doesn't have the versatility in terms of the car pool on offer, because it's obviously focused on endurance racing. ACC is in the autumn of its years. It's not easy to find competitive servers in that anymore. There are a few on console, but to get the most out of ACC you kind of have to sign up for private leagues, which is fine, but it just doesn't, it's not as convenient as what iRacing service offers. And then in terms of road cars, you've got Race Room, again doesn't have the convenient online service. This game, it doesn't have the most active multiplayer base anymore, and to get the most out of it you've got to rely on private leagues once again. The original Assetto Corsa is much the same story as Race Room. It's had its day, it's still a great sim, but to get the most out of it in a multiplayer sense, you're again reliant on LFM and private leagues. Even Race Room's LFM didn't really plan or work out as I think they would have hoped it might have done. Most of the LFM races I've signed up for Race Room haven't actually gone ahead because there's not been enough players sign up for them in the first instance, so that's a shame. But I'm glad that Project Motor Racing is looking to combine the convenience of iRacing with a more versatile a more versatile car pool in a sense, but also without the subscription cost. There is, in fairness, versatility in iRacing. You've got to give it credit where it's due, but if you buy into some of that versatility, because that has a cost, you then have to maintain access to that through the continual paying out of the subscription fee each month. And over the course of a year, that is going to be more expensive than what you pay up front for Project Motor Racing with its season content, its VIP pass, whatever it's called. So you kind of have to think about what's the best value for money, and if the Project Motor Racing service offers that convenience that iRacing currently has but behind a paywall, then it's going to be hard to argue with it, and it's going to have an increased player base because it's going to have cross-play, so there's going to be the pool of console players that are going to have access to it, whereas iRacing only have the PC players. So in terms of cultivating and sustaining that player base, which iRacing does better than anyone at the moment, it has a good chance, and it's all going to be on whether it can sustain the player base to sustain the competitive races in the same way that iRacing does. And I really, really hope that it comes good when the game lands in November, because I don't know, for me, I do have my iRacing membership. I thought about getting rid of it because I've not used it a huge amount recently, but I'm not getting on board with buying add-on content, because I don't want to lose access to it when I want to stop paying the membership for iRacing. I don't want to lose access to content because it's expensive. You have to pay per car, per track, and it's not. I mean, I don't know the price off the top of my head, but I know I've looked before, and my initial response to iRacing prices have been, yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap, and it's to pay a membership to maintain access to that content that you buy is, I don't know, it seems like an insane business model that I think has only worked because there's not been the competition. So yeah, I wonder if iRacing, first off, if the devs are going to have to reconsider the business model, whether they'll have to adjust prices to kind of stay competitive with the likes of AC Evo, which again might offer that multiplayer experience for road cars in a convenient way, but currently is stuck in like a beta alpha I guess timeline, or not timeline, what's it, roadmap. So yeah, I don't know, I don't feel that confident in AC with its current state, and I get that it's in alpha and beta, but even that's been a bit ropey with them missing deadlines when they were meant to add content and haven't been able to, and putting out social media statements and such. So yeah, my bread is in the basket of Project Motor Racing at this point. I'd be interested to see if iRacing adjusts prices based on the competition of Project Motor Racing and AC Evo. And it's interesting for people or sim racers that are currently invested in iRacing, because presumably there's lots of people out there that have purchased the content and who are going to want to maintain the access to that, so we'll continue paying out the subscription, and maybe iRacing have got to bank on that somewhat, and maybe that's where their business model will come good for them. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not the developer making these decisions, these calls, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm just excited that there's potential there for an on-demand ranked sim racing experience, because iRacing service is good. I've enjoyed using it when I have used it. It's just a shame it's so expensive, and yeah, buying into the content comes with that risk of losing it if you become unwilling to continue shelling out every month. But that's my kind of initial thoughts on it. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. If any of you have got iRacing subscriptions, would you put it down for Project Motor Racing if Project Motor Racing was successful? It's all looking very good, like all the PR and marketing stuff is looking really good, but I guess we're not going to know for sure until the game drops. I know that I've seen some rumours about the game not having a rolling start on launch, so it's going to be standing starts only. But I feel like that's the kind of thing that they can implement with an update. And yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, I guess. But for now, I'm going to leave this one here as we head into the pits. I have no idea where I finished. I think P26 in the end of that, managing to get through half the field at least in this little MX-5. But yes, excited for what the future of sim racing has to bring. If you've enjoyed the video, then do give it a thumbs up. Any help is greatly appreciated. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I shall see you in the next one.